All right. I just wanted to give our donors in Canada first ever update. So today I placed an order for some King James Bibles to be shipped. So this is the first time in history that you get to see this, where Bibles are actually being shipped out to Feed My Sheep Today Army Canada. So they should be arriving my mailbox in probably 2 weeks, I think, within 2 weeks. So I will be letting you know that as well. And then the plan is to obviously to show you where I'm actually giving out these Bibles. And there's a couple of opportunities that are starting to happen in Canada, which is it's amazing. I think of the story, The Widow's Oil, when a widow went to Elisha and said, my husband was one of the prophets and he is no longer with us. He passed away and we are in debt and we are up to our eyeballs in debt. And in fact, the collectors are coming to take away my two sons, which usually means they don't come back until they pay off the debt, which could be never. So not only will she lose her two sons, but because she's a widow, she will also lose her chance to generate an income. So Elisha says, what do you have? And she says, I got nothing. I think it originally says, I got nada, not a thing. Oh, except for a flask with just a little bit of oil in it. That's all I have. A jar of oil, but it's almost empty. So Elisha says, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go out wherever you can, and I want you to collect empty containers. I'm going somewhere with this. I want you to go out and collect empty containers and don't collect a few. So she sent her two sons out and they went everywhere, knocking on doors, asking them for empty containers, meaning things that you don't need, things that you don't use, things that perhaps you are going to discard one day yourself. Maybe it's a jar, maybe it's a vessel of some kind, a basin to wash your hands, who knows? A container is a container. If it can hold water, it's called a container. Doesn't matter the shape of it. So they went everywhere. And when they showed up, the woman, the widow, began to pour. And as she was pouring, I could see her son's eyes bug out and drop out of their heads. So as she began to pour, she's like, quickly, bring another container. Another container shows up. They put another one down, another vessel. More. Keep it coming, because the oil is pouring. The more containers she had, the more oil that would pour out. And then when she's like, okay, I need another container, her son said to her, there are no more containers. That's it. And the oil stopped. The oil stopped flowing. So what does that mean? It means you need a container for oil to flow through. You need a vessel to be able to act as a conduit for money to flow through. So after speaking with Bob Barber and Ann Moonans in the United States with Feed My Sheep Today Army, we thought it was in the best interest of Canada to also create an arm in Canada doing the same thing as what they're doing in the United States of America. That is to hand out as many free Bibles as possible to the right people at the right time. You don't want to hand the Bibles to people that trample on it. That's not the goal. But you don't want it to cost anything for them. So I ordered some Bibles. My plan is each month is to lay out a budget of how much money came in and then purchase Bibles. So consider Feed My Sheep Today Army Canada and a container. So as you donate to this organization, we can actually together dictate where the funds go. We can actually say, hey, can you send it to this prison ministry? Just leave a comment. Can you send it to Her Victory to help remove prostitutes from the street? Because today is the Calgary Stampede, and it's starting today in Calgary. And this place, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, is going to be one of the highest trafficking places on the globe, on the planet. So that's what the stats are saying, that this is a place that is highly trafficked. They bring women from all over the planet to Calgary to traffic them. And sometimes you don't even see these women. They go in, they land on the plane, they put them up in hotels, they put them up in Airbnbs. And then they, as quickly as they came in, they fly them out to the next destination to be a prostitute. And people pay big money for that. So that is one of our first and foremost and biggest projects that we're working on right now. That is to help remove these women from trafficking. And sometimes it involves giving them a new identity. We can't show their faces or anything. So we're partnering with Her Victory to be able to accomplish that. We're supplying the funds. They're supplying the boots on the ground, and they're working with various police outlets across the nation and, in fact, in the United States as well, because they're bringing in women from the States. They're bringing women from all over the world. So this is a big problem, and it's in our backyard. So when you donate, if you put hashtag in the comments Her Victory, I will allocate monies for that. If you put hashtag men's prison ministry or just put prison, hashtag prison, I'll know where it's going towards, because we're working on getting Bibles into men's hands in a prison. I'm also going to be talking to various hotels as well, because Gideon's Bible is not in hotels. So I'm also going to be having a conversation with Gideon's to be able to find out why they chose not to have Bibles, because there are times where I would go to a hotel and, well, this was a long time ago, because I bring my Bible, my King James Bible, wherever I go today. But there was a time where I would go to a hotel and there was no King James Bible. There was no Gideon's Bible in the hotel. They removed them. So I want to bring Bibles back into hotels in Canada, on Canadian soil. So that's another project that I'm working on as well. So we'll need lots of Bibles for that. And again, I'm going to be having a conversation with Gideons to see why they chose to not do that anymore. Maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe there's something there. But for sure, in my community, reaching out, especially some of the independent hotels. I used to manage a hotel for 4 years, both my wife and myself. So we would get salespeople come to the door. Would you like coffee for all the rooms? Would you like TVs for all the rooms? Would you like literature, whatever, magazines, whatever? So I know there are individual hotel chains that can actually decide whether or not they want Bibles in their room. And I will provide Bibles for these smaller hotels, like the country inns and all that kind of stuff, so that when their guest shows up and they open up that drawer, there is a Bible placed there by Feed My Sheep Today Army. So that's one of the things that I want to do. And I want our logo to be on those Bibles as well, just like the Gideons used to do, because I was precious. I got my first Bible when I was in grade 5. I was 10 years old, given to me by the Gideons. It was a red New Testament book, and I read it. I read the whole book, and I loved it. I'll tell you what, I love that so much. And I was 10 years old. So again, I would like to eventually get to a point where we're starting to have a conversation about getting Bibles back into the schools. It used to be there. We took it out. The country took a bit of a nosedive. So what about the idea of getting them back into public schools? So we're working on that as well behind the scenes. And also we're going to be putting money aside for disaster relief. I know Saskatchewan, there's an area called McNutt. That's where my wife is from. And that place is underwater right now. It's like a tsunami hit it. The river, the Mississippi River is overflowing. The ski hill, you can't even recognize it anymore. It's all underwater. Houses are underwater, all this stuff. And we're asking my wife's mom, it's like, maybe this is the time to get out of Dodge. And she's like, nope, staying there. There's too much to do on the farm, all this stuff. And she's like 80 years old. So I know where there's more farmers that are not leaving their farm because they're looking at their farm underwater and they're choosing to stay there. That's devastating, but they need help as well. Some of these farmers need help. And that's what I want to be able to do, is I want to be able to reach out, because this is in my backyard. This is in my home. So I have a heart for disaster, because my hometown got burnt down in Fort McMurray. My city was overcome with a massive flood a few years ago, and High River was submerged by the flood. So I went out there and I helped, and we helped dig out some of the homes, like all the mud in the basements and everything. It was horrible, man, horrible stuff. So we're going to be putting money aside for that as well. And then obviously, first and foremost is the King James Bible. But then we also have projects that we're working on that I consider as of the highest priority. Is Her Victory, helping remove prostitutes from the streets and help them get a new identity, a new life, counseling, therapy, all kinds of stuff. And then also working on building relationships both for the women and the men in prison, and being able to preach the correct gospel according to 1 Corinthians 15 verses 1 to 4, the gospel that Paul preached. That's what we preach here. And then, of course, disaster relief, because that's close to my heart. So thank you guys. If you want to donate, all you have to do is go to the description in the channel. You can mail out checks. You can go to feedmysheeptodayarmy.org. If you're an American, click on the American link. If you're a Canadian, click on the Canadian link. It says Canada. And that's it. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. It's so slick to donate. You just a couple of clicks and off you go. If you want to leave a note as a phone number, if you would like me personally to reach out to you, to pray with you, for you to pray for us, I can do that as well. Again, in the description, I'll try and put the description in this video of all the details as to how you can donate to Feed My Sheep Today Army Canada. We would greatly appreciate that. So mostly because we're starting out here in Canada, we need your prayers. So thank you guys very much. And I will see you in another video to give you another update as to what we're going on. But I'm excited on this first chapter, excited to get these King James Bibles in my hand. And once they arrive, I will show them to you. So stay tuned, subscribe to this channel, support this channel. We love you guys. See you later. Bye for now.